Alright, so I'm just going to do a walk around video here, kind of show you the 88 Land Cruiser. As you can see, the front end is pretty nice. It does have peeling paint in a lot of places. The clear coat's peeling, not a real high quality paint job. So you can see that's an issue, but all the lights work correctly. Has a nice grille, nice bumper. I've had the windshield replaced in the last 11 years. You can see it's got some surface rust on the wiper arms, but they work, you know, everything's fine. It does have the non-chrome strip style piece around the windshield that was put in by Safelite Auto Glass. I still have the chrome that came in the original one. You know, they didn't give me the option to go with the chrome one. They asked me if I wanted original or aftermarket. The aftermarket one was included in the price, and the original one was several $100s more at the time. I didn't realize there was a difference, so it just has the black, but that can be replaced. Actually, that original one's more readily available now. So kind of going down the side, you can see get out of the sun here. The wheels need to be polished up. That's just with a car wash. These are original wheels that I bought from Spectre Off-Road. It had some not great aftermarket wheels on it when I bought it. Looking up in the wheel well, since we have the sunlight in there, you can see that there's a little bit of surface rust. No major rust at all. The inside of the wheel wells are fine. The exhaust has some rust on it. Those are pipes that I've replaced. When I got it, it had a butchered exhaust system where they had pieced it together over the years, so that's all been replaced. Looking at the mirror, you can see some flaking chrome on the mirror. It still looks okay from 10 feet away, but that's probably something that'll need to be cleaned up in the future. It does need new window tint. You can see those bubbles there. Actually, this is a pretty good shot of it here in the sun. I think this window tint's probably from the 80s, so needs to be redone. But you know, looking down the side, it's not bad. I mean, it doesn't have like crash damage or anything like that. It needs a paint job, you know, not gonna lie, it needs to be repainted. More flaking clear coat and more flaking clear coat up top. It does have the original roof rack, and I suspect this may have been wood grain back in the day, probably a sticker. But you know, it's body overall is in pretty good shape. You know, it does have back here, it has a spot where it started to rust a little bit, and so what I did is I took one of those paint remover discs and did an area right about in here and put rust converter on it, and then covered it with this primer. And that was probably 5 or 6 years ago, and you can see the rust is kind of starting to come back. But you know, it's solid. There's not a hole there. There's no filler here. This is just the primer. So you know, with a paint job, that type of thing will need to be addressed. It does have a couple of other spots in the paint, but this is where I had a blowout on that wheel one time and got a little spot right there. But again, you know, with a repaint, that kind of thing would be taken care of. As far as driver's side, that's pretty much it. I'll get to the underside here in a minute. It's cold this morning, so I'm going to delay getting on the ground. So we've got, again, the backside, no major problems. Obviously, window tint. It does have a little bit of rust on this chrome piece here. It's not like a structural rust. It's just kind of on the surface, but I'm not really sure how you would get that off. It might have to be re-chromed and then repaint the black. You know, the rear bumper's in pretty good shape. I don't know if you can see it. It does have one little spot like right in there. It's not in the sun, so it may be hard to see. One little tiny, like almost like hail dent sized dent in it. Not the best amount of light to see that. But again, you know, no major problems on the back side. Now this side's in a shadow, so it's going to be a little harder to see, but kind of the same story as the other side. I'll start with the rust spot. This is a much smaller rust spot on this side. Same story though. Treated it and you know, did the same thing. And there's another one starting here on the bottom of that door. That's going to need the same treatment at a minimum, you know, probably immediately. Again, bad window tint. This side still has, you know, peeling clear. Let's see, what else? Same story on the mirror. The flaking, separating chrome. It does have an FJ60 antenna. Obviously, almost all these, the power antenna over the years would be broken. So it does have an FJ60 antenna on it, but it's mounted properly at the right angle, not sticking off sideways like you see a lot of them. All right, so that's good. Let me open the hood. We'll do that. Or maybe we'll do the interior first. So looking at the interior, you can see the seats have been redone. They're vinyl, and the rear seat here, a lot of shadows, it's kind of hard to tell. It does have these cool shoulder belts. These are from Toyota. This would have been a dealer installed option back in the day. I bought them from Spectre Off-Road and installed them because I had my kids back here. And that way we could buckle them in with shoulder belts, not just lap belts. But you know, overall, I think the vinyl upholstery looks nice. You know, it's obviously not the original cloth, but I think they did a good job there. Has nice carpet. It's a little dirty right now because I've had it, I haven't vacuumed it since I've drove it around some, so bear in mind a little bit of dirt in there. Up front, you can see the cracks in the dash. Cruiser Core sells a new dash cap for $155, make that look brand new. Right here, this panel, get my finger in the shot there, this panel here that runs all the way across over to the radio, I've replaced that, new from Toyota. So that's brand new. The old one had some chips around it where it looked like a radio had been stolen at some point. It is missing, or I have it, but it's broken, the fuse box cover. It's right in the line of fire for my knee when I get in. I'm kind of tall, so I smacked my knee on it, and it was all she wrote. Probably the weak point of the interior, aside from the speaker grills. I do have speakers that come with it. I just haven't I haven't ever bothered to install them because I was really wanting to try to locate some new original speaker grills that aren't broken. Mine have the legs that go through here broken off. I have the grills, but they're not really attachable. So aside from that, probably the biggest thing is this console. You know, like the lid is, you know, it's hinged, but it's, you know, the whole console is kind of not great. But they do make some pretty cool aftermarket like metal consoles that are pretty neat. Let's see here. Go around to the back. So back here, you can see it has tan carpet back here, which seems a bit odd, right? Because it's brown everywhere else. But it actually has brand new brown carpet under the tan. I think what actually happened is the previous owner did the carpet kit, and I think they pulled all the seats out to do it. And when they put this brown carpet in the back, they didn't run it up the back seat, they ran it under the back seat. So that carpet's under there. You can flip it up and install it correctly. But I assume they've poked 3 holes in it for the seat belts to attach to, and so there would be probably 3 holes down along the bottom whenever it was installed correctly. But since we used to take the family camping in this, I just left the tan back here and never bothered to change it, because that way I didn't have to worry about, you know, getting the new carpet dirty. But yeah, just one of the minor things with it. And then as far as the panels on the sides go, they're in pretty good shape. The ones on the right hand side are in really nice shape. On the left hand side, we do have, oh, there's a wasp. We do have a little bit of curving on that one. You know, just one of those things. So, and then back here, we got this carpet panel. It's a little bit sun faded. They didn't actually replace this one, but I do have the new one that came with the carpet kit that they installed. Not sure why they didn't install this one, but they didn't. I did get it with the truck though. And you know, looking here, that's mainly dirt. There's no rust or anything. There is a spot right here where it looks like it has a little ding, and so there's a little tiny spot right there, and you know, just dirt, nothing major. I did replace all the weather stripping on the truck, so all the weather stripping is newer. There is one piece that probably needs to be replaced again. This passenger side door, the corner has split. That's weather stripping that I put on it. I bought from, I think, Spectre Off-Road in 2010, and I guess the brand that they sold was not the highest quality, because this is the 3rd one that I've had a problem with. So I've been buying it from Cruiser Core here in Oklahoma City, the replacement. There seems to be a much higher quality and doesn't have that problem. And you know, the ones from Spectre just seemed like they didn't last. So there you can see the other speaker grill missing. Some more shots of the dash, seats, headliner. Headliner has some dirt on it. My kids are messy slobs. They were pretty young when I got, you know, when I bought this in 2010. My youngest was less than a year old, and my other son was 4, so you can imagine the messes they made. All right, so finishing, kind of looking around the sides here, you know, again, nothing major. A little bit of, there's not even really much surface rust, just little stuff like that. Nothing real rusty or anything. Some dirt, probably need to wash it a little better, but yeah, nothing too major. A little bit right there that looks like it probably needs to be taken care of with the paint job. Nothing too major. All right, so we can go open the hood now. I apologize if the video is of low quality. I never claimed to be a good cameraman. Okay. So starting up here at the front, looking at like the core support, you know, it's in good shape. Nothing major. That's a, there's not really rust there. That just looks like where maybe the rubber has rubbed on it. There is a little bit of sagging in this guy, and so he's left a mark here. There's no hole there. That's just where that hood protector has sagged. And then same thing over here where it says EFI, that has rubbed. It's from this guy sagging right above him. But overall, you know, pretty good shape. I have replaced the battery terminals. AC is all converted over to 134. I just put new service ports on it. It had a leaking port, so that's been fixed, vacuumed. AC is all good to go. Fuel system's all been redone. Brake system's all been been redone. It's got a new master cylinder and booster on it. That's actually a 4Runner booster. So it's all prepped and ready to go for the 4Runner 4-piston caliper upgrade if you want to do that. It does have a headlight relay box here. Gets its power from the alternator, so you won't have any problems with dim lights on this one. No cutting has been done to the original harness. It actually just plugs in to the headlight socket and then takes its signal from that and then sends the power out. So if you remove this, just go back to 100% stock, plug your headlights in, go back to having dim headlights, but nothing's been cut. It does have something interesting. So down here below the master cylinder, it has this guy, which is actually a factory, well, I don't know if it's factory. It's a 1980s cruise control. So you can see it's got this nice classic looking button here. You know, I don't know if it works or not because the cable is not hooked up. The cruise control cable runs up here, and it looks to me like it must have just attached to the regular cable and then in some way connected up here. I've not been able to find any documentation from the 80s or like what brand this cruise control might be to try to hook that up correctly. I didn't want to mess with it and do something silly and get my throttle stuck, so I've not hooked that cable up. But maybe someday somebody can find the correct instructions for it. But it is there. I have no reason to believe it wouldn't work, but yeah, just a little interesting tidbit. Yeah, and the engine's not been detailed. A lot of people want to spray cleaner all over their engine and, you know, make it all shiny, but then you can't see leaks and whatnot. And I don't think there's any leaks up here. Oh, maybe right there. Looks like there may be a tiny little bit of dampness around that power steering, maybe. It's definitely not clean metal. But yeah, that's it there. We can go on a journey on the underside now. Oh, the ground is cold. All right, so try to get some decent angles here. So starting over here on the driver's side, everything suspension wise has been redone, you know, tie rods, all that. It's got the old man emu lift on it with the greasable anti-inversion shackles and all that stuff. It does have a leak in the back of the oil pan. I have the oil pan gasket for it. I just haven't put it on. And it looks like the power steering again here, probably running down those hoses. Looks like there's some dampness there, so I might need a power steering hose of some sort, but it's not really been low on fluid, so I don't think it's been leaking quickly. But yeah, pretty good shape under there. Let me go over to the side now. All right. So over here, kind of again looking at the passenger side from the front, going across towards the back. It's a little dirty, and you know, like right in here, there's some of that surface rust I was talking about. And then looking at the rocker, which is always a place you want to check for rust. Nothing major. Let's see. Over here, front drive shaft has been recently replaced with a used one. The old front one had some excessive wear on the slip joint. The transmission, you can see the leak from the oil pan right there. There's a little dampness right there on that bell housing. It's at the back of the oil pan where that's leaking. It kind of leaks around the side of the oil pan a little bit, and it runs back there. But like I said, I have the oil pan gasket. It's just not yet installed. But yeah, I mean, you can see some of the newer exhaust that's on it. I mean, I replaced it probably 7 or 8 years ago. And you can see more of the back. I've done all the U-joints on the drive shafts, front and rear. I pulled the gas tank out, flushed it, purged out all the lines, did all that whenever I got it. I think it had set for a while when the previous owner had it and was restoring it and replacing the engine. Because after I drove it for a couple of months, I'm guessing some junk in the tank broke loose and clogged up my fuel injectors. So that's why I did the whole fuel system. So this is the driver's side. So looking back, again, nothing major. I didn't try to spray paint a bunch of black spray paint under here to hide anything. You know, it's dirty, but it is what it is, you know. And the rocker. Huh. Never noticed that. Not sure if that's supposed to be there. That little notch. So again, nothing too out of the ordinary. There's the exhaust. The catalytic converters have not been replaced, but the rest of the exhaust has. And then you can see everything here. I mean, it's solid. You know, I see a lot of these that are big gaping rust holes. This thing's pretty good. It does need tires. I mean, heck, those tires are, these are the Falcon Wild Peak, and I don't know why. Half of the tread wasn't very deep, so it still has a lot of meat left, but half the tread is worn away. So I don't know why you would make a tire like that. So you get halfway through the tread life and there's nothing, like it's just these rubber strips around it. Not sure why they did that. But you know, they've been on there for heck 10 years, so they've lived their life. So that's good. And we can go ahead and do a startup. It's like 40 degrees out, so it's a little chilly. We'll see what it sounds like on a cold start at this temperature, if I can find the key. Here, I'll hang the phone out so you can hear the startup. That sounds like the power steering. So yeah, the power steering pump is making a little bit of noise, but it's got fluid. So yeah, maybe the power steering pump might need to be worked on. But you know, like it's a cold start on a cold morning, so I'm not trying to hide anything. And just to show you, it is a little chilly this morning. You can see a little bit of steam coming out because it's chilly today for sure. But you know, the power steering works fine. But yeah, that noise tells me that maybe let me move the wheel, let you hear it. Not sure if you can hear that on the video, but the power steering is making a tiny bit of noise on this cold start. I don't think it normally does that when it's warm, but you know, not trying to hide anything. I didn't want to like edit the video and warm the car up or anything. You know, you got my hand on the radiator, so you can tell it's a cold startup. And then over here, if I turn the AC on, it should do the idle up. There's the idle up, and AC's running. You can't really see the cold air, but this temperature gauge doesn't work, but you should see it going down. It doesn't read the right number, but you should see it going down now that the AC's on. I'm guessing it was warmer since the dash is in the sun. Yeah, the dash is kind of warm, so that's why that was reading that high. This temperature gauge just kind of sort of works. But if we go around front, so now that it's been running for a minute, you can see that, or you can hear that the power steering is now quiet, and the AC compressor should kick on here in just a minute. Yeah, put the phone right down here by the power steering, see if you can hear it, because it's got quiet now. There, the AC compressor just kicked on. So, not sure if you could hear my narration there, but the AC compressor kicked on. And also now that it's been running for a few seconds, the power steering is quiet. So that's pretty much it. I guess the only other thing, just kind of standing here, the only other thing that I hear that is probably not 100% normal is that the smog pump, the air pump. But I don't know what a smog pump normally sounds like, so I don't know if you can hear it. I mean, I guess that could be the belt, I don't know. But yeah, everything seems to be pretty normal. I'll see if I missed anything. I guess maybe we can go over the rest of the dash. So, you know, the dash is in good shape. That AC's cold. Turn that off. The dash is in good shape. You know, the carpet up here is in good shape, except for this one spot down here, which, excuse the grass, but there's a little spot in the carpet down here from not having a floor mat. I'll take the blame for that one because I drove it for 11 years with no floor mat. That's my fault. But, you know, other than the dash top with the cracks, it's really, really nice. And I replaced the rear view mirror with an OEM one because my other one was loose and you'd have to constantly readjust. This is a brand new mirror from Toyota. It has an updated radio, nothing special, but it does have Bluetooth, and the little microphone for the Bluetooth is here. But yeah, nothing special there, just an upgrade. And I did replace all the vents, so these all work. Everything works like it's supposed to with these, so that you can close it and then open it. These were broken when I got it, but yeah, those are all good all the way across. The four-wheel drive, the light, the bulb doesn't work, but if you put it in, trying to reach and press the button here, let me show you. So right now it's in two-wheel drive. If you press the button, the green light right here doesn't come on, but I can show you that it does work. So if we come around here, so right now we're in two-wheel drive, and you can see and then I will push the button. And now we're in four-wheel drive. So now we're in four. So that works. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Can't really think of anything else. You know, the ad has all the lists of things that I could remember that I've done to it. But yeah. All right, thanks a lot.